Steely. Steely. What's wrong with you?
Sorry, I was up late.
Oh.
I worked a WWE show last night. Michael P.S. Hayes smelled like Jack Daniels. Vince McMahon really does walk like that. And Roman Reigns was wondering where his Jimmy's famous seafood was. It was a long night.
Well, don't worry. I got this one.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I might need to sit this one out.
Yeah, you do that. Let's get this over with. It's showtime. Hello friends, it's me, the Jokester, hosting this episode of Steely's Corner 31 for 31 Days of Halloween. But let's not waste any more time, let's get right into it. Creepshow! 5 different short stories, 3 titans of horror, all in one movie. In 1982, Stephen King created a wonderful little array all based around the ideals of a cat.
Wrong movie. Try again.
It is? Oh, that's Cat's Eye. Sorry. Okay, Creepshow. A movie where Adam Sandler plays both brother and sister in the same film.
That was a creep show, but wrong one.
Damn it. When godfather of the zombie genre, George A. Romero, decided to direct an anthology series of movies, he reached out to some guy named Stephen King.
That's it.
I think he's written a couple of books.
Stephen King has written over 63 novels and has also scribed over 200 short stories and movie scripts, not counting the 7 books he also published under a different name.
To round out this trifecta, if they're going to tell amazing stories by Stephen King and have a visual director such as George Romero, they needed wonderful visuals to shoot. So they ask the messiah of horror makeup and special effects, Tom Savini, to step in as the third part of this triforce of a movie. It's corny and 80s, but I freaking love it! This movie's got a crap ton of famous people in it. For instance, Ed Harris, before he lost his Harris. Ted Danson, before he started working at that bar.
Where everybody knows your name.
Leslie Nielsen, back when he was still a serious and evil actor. Damn good at it, too.
Don't call me mister, you know damn well who I am, so let's not play any games, huh?
Horror movie scream queen Adrienne Barbeau, world-renowned character actor E.G. Marshall, and even Stephen King and his son, Joe King, who later went under the pen name Joe Hill and gave the world a wonderful novel, The Heart-Shaped Box. Like father, like son, I guess. I feel like this movie's missing one person, though. It needs a little machismo.
Aren't you forgetting somebody?
Oh yeah. Tom Adkins. He's back. That's right. The mustache is back, baby.
Yay, Tom's back. Yay.
I think you're secretly obsessed. No, you're overtly obsessed with Tom Adkins.
Does anybody know how tall you have to be to ride Tom Adkins?
You have a small problem with this movie. Trying to keep things spoiler-free, it's a little difficult because it's 5 short stories with one story that kind of wraps them all together, your basic anthology setup. So I'm just gonna give you the cliff notes of each one, because just like the EC horror comics that this movie is kind of based off of, they all have shock and abrupting endings, so giving them away would kind of ruin it for you. The first story, Father's Day, is about a family gathering together for the death of their elder. Apparently, their crazy aunt had murdered him years ago about a damn cake. But this story has one of the most frightening and scary things I've ever seen before in my life.
Don't let go.
Get it, Ed? Yeah. It's about time they made a horror movie about Father's Day. The stepfather's not cutting it. The next one is my absolute favorite. This is the tragic story of a farmer who finds a meteorite in the middle of a field. And that farmer happens to be played by Stephen King, who I think was on so much cocaine at this point, on the set is where he wrote Maximum Overdrive.
Meteor ship!
That's usually how I order from Taco Bell. They ask me if I want chicken or beef, and I just tell them, the meteor shit. King plays a character named Geordie, who's a little, not quite all there. But as time goes on and him carrying this meteorite around, he slowly starts to transform into... Yes, he looks like a grown chia pet. But I'm not going to spoil Geordie's fate. So, moving on. The next story is a story of revenge and forbidden love. And this story has that damn bartender from Cheers in it, and Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad. Apparently, Mr. Ted here has been going at it with Leslie Nielsen's wife, and he forces him to dig himself a hole and then bury himself up to his neck in sand as the tide rolls in. And then Leslie Nielsen watches it all from a TV. Well, that's obviously Phil Donahue. Then he gets a strange knock at the door. What's that? What could that be? Oh, zombie sea people!
I can hold my breath for a long time!
The next story was one of Tom Savini's absolute favorites because this was the very first time he had to make an animatronic puppet. The story is called The Crate. Takes place about a man who is pretty low on his life, dealing with his horrible, drunk, and, quite frankly, promiscuous wife, played by Adrienne Barbeau, who plays a complete and absolute bitch in this movie, but apparently is one of the sweetest people in the entire world. Anyway, he receives a mysterious crate from the Galapagos Islands. Okay, what's in the box?
The nickname for the creature on the set was actually Fluffy. That's kind of nice. Even though he looks like a critter.
That's a scary teddy. So, all in all, the husband's idea is to lead Miss Barbeau down there to pet Fluffy. We'll see how that ends up.
And no good at all, in fact. And I swear to God, if you ever touch
And finally, E.G. Marshall stars in our last story about a billionaire clean freak who is afraid of germs and bugs. And if you don't like bugs, don't watch this one. It's got a lot of bugs. Anyway, E.G. is very eccentric and basically treats everybody like crap. Just kind of wondering why he would do that to his hairdresser, because that's what looks like crap. That's my guy Larry from the Three Stooges. I love them movies. But I hates bugs. There's two things in this world I hates, and it's bugs. And what's the other thing? I'm sorry? The other thing that scares you. You said there was two. Oh. Roombas. How do they know where to go? Anyway, he finds an infestation of bugs inside of his apartment, and slowly but surely starts to succumb to the psychosis of, are the bugs really there? Are they not? All in all, Creepshow is a hell of a good time. Oh, and that wraparound story? That's where Tom Adkins comes in. But again, kind of leave it a little ambiguous for you. So it is a collection of stories from three of the greatest men that have ever graced horror movies, and they would subsequently rejoin together for Creepshow 2, The Search for More Money. Well, that's all I have to say, and I really don't do logistics, so Terry, take 'em home.
With a 2-hour runtime, this movie does feel like it's a long sitting, but it actually does go pretty fast because the stories are so short, with a interconnecting story kind of tying them all together. All in all, it's a good film. Rotten Tomatoes at least thought so, with a very, very, very generous 74%. But one big advantage this movie had when it came out was it was going up against the last movie we did. This was going head-to-head with Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and because of the staggering disappointment of lack of Michael Myers, Creepshow elevated itself to the #1 horror movie in 1982. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Hello.
What?
I want to play a game.
Oh, shit. I said Texas Chainsaw, not Saul. I haven't seen anybody. Texas Chainsaw. 3 words.